In a world driven by signals, notifications, algorithms, expectations, we've become masters at responding to everything out there. But what about the signal within? We've built machines that think, systems that predict, and networks that connect billions of people. We've mapped the stars, we've charted the ocean floor, but most of us have never taken the time to map our own soul. There's something we're born with, a compass, not the kind you carry in your pocket, the kind that beats in your chest. Quiet, consistent, honest, it's called your heart, and it knows, it always knows, but over time we forget how to listen to it. We're told to listen to experts, to data, to influencers, to the market. We're told to be realistic, to be practical, to be logical, and little by little, that voice, the one that lives deep inside us, gets drowned out by the noise. But make no mistake, it's still there. You weren't born with doubt, you weren't born with fear, you were born with instinct, and that instinct still whispers when the world gets quiet enough. The heart is more than a muscle, it's a transmitter. It doesn't shout, it sends signals, it nudges you through goosebumps, through restlessness, through that feeling in your stomach that says, this isn't right, or this is exactly where I need to be. You already know the way. You've always known. The question is, have you been listening? We often think the future is something that happens to us, something out there, far ahead, waiting to unfold. But what if the future is something that begins inside you? Every innovation, every breakthrough, every great shift in history started the same way, not with certainty, but with a feeling, a knowing, a spark that didn't make sense to anyone else, yet couldn't be ignored. Because the people who build the future don't follow instructions, they follow their inner signal, the heart. Steve Jobs once said, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. And that's not just poetic, it's strategic. It's visionary, because the future isn't created by those who repeat what's already been done. It's created by those who listen to something the world can't see yet. Your heart doesn't care about trends. It doesn't care about being liked or being safe. It only cares about one thing, truth. And truth, real truth, doesn't scream, it whispers. There will be times when the world tells you you're wrong, that your dream is too big, that your idea is too strange, that your plan is too unrealistic. And in those moments, you have two choices. Listen to the world or listen to the whisper. History belongs to the ones who chose the whisper. So if you're waiting for permission, this is it. If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Your future won't be found in someone else's map. It will rise from your own inner signal. Listen, trust it, and begin. There's a reason most people feel lost. It's not because they don't have goals. It's not because they aren't working hard. It's because they're listening to everything except themselves. The world is loud, it shouts at you from every angle. Buy this, chase that, be like them, look like her, think like him. The voices are constant, social media, news cycles, family expectations, cultural programming. It never stops, but your heart, it doesn't compete for attention, it waits. And the tragedy is, most people never get quiet enough to hear it. We mistake busyness for progress. We fill our days with tasks, distractions, comparisons, and then wonder why we feel disconnected. We measure our lives in likes, followers, views, forgetting that none of that is real validation, none of that is you, because your deepest answers will never be on a screen, they will come in the silence. In the spaces between the noise, in the moments you stop asking the world and start asking yourself, what do I want? Who am I without the audience? What would I do if no one else had a say? Those are the questions that real power lives in. You don't need to be louder, you need to be quieter so you can finally hear the truth that's already inside you. Listening isn't easy, it requires you to pause, to feel, to trust, but once you hear it, really hear it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. The world will always offer you noise, but the wise choose the signal. Technology is evolving faster than we can understand it. Every day, we're surrounded by smarter systems, faster algorithms, personalized everything. Our attention is the most valuable currency in the world, and everyone is trying to buy it. But in a world where everything is engineered to pull you outward, your only chance to stay grounded is to turn inward. Clarity will become a superpower. Because as artificial intelligence begins to predict your choices, your habits, your behavior, the only thing it can't replicate is your heart, your desire, your purpose. The machines will never know why your eyes light up when you talk about a dream. They'll never understand the lump in your throat when you realize something matters. They'll never feel what it's like to choose what's right even when it's hard. That's human, that's soul, and that's where your advantage lies. In the future, it won't be the most informed who lead it, will be the most aligned. People who have mastered not just technology, but themselves. People who don't just react to the world, they shape it. That starts with clarity, and inner clarity only comes from one place, listening to your rhythm, to your truth, to your heart. We are approaching a future where the loudest voices won't lead anymore, the clearest ones will. And clarity doesn't come from the crowd, it comes from within. Science is catching up to something ancient. For centuries, we treated the heart as nothing more than a pump, a biological engine keeping us alive. But now we know the truth. The heart has its own intelligence. It has neurons. It sends signals to the brain. It processes information, it remembers. This isn't philosophy, it's neuroscience. The Heart Math Institute calls it the heart-brain connection. A real, measurable communication system between your chest and your mind. And what they're finding is stunning. When your heart is coherent, your thinking becomes clearer, your decisions get sharper, your stress goes down, your intuition goes up. This isn't magic, this is biology. The feeling you get when something's off, that's not just superstition. That's your heart processing complex information faster than your conscious mind can keep up with, and yet we've been trained to dismiss it. To ignore the signal, to call it irrational. But what if the most rational thing you can do is trust what your whole being is trying to tell you? Your heart is an ancient intelligence. It knows when something aligns and when it doesn't. It knows what's right for you, not in theory, but in your bones. It's not guessing, it's remembering, because your heart is not just a muscle. It's a guide, a compass, a mind of its own, and when you learn to listen to it, decisions become effortless. Direction becomes obvious, life starts to flow. We spend so much time trying to get smarter, but what if we started by getting quieter? Because the future doesn't need more noise, it needs more alignment. And the most powerful intelligence you have might be the one beating in your chest. Listening to your heart isn't weak, it's not soft, it's not naive, it's radical. Because in a world that teaches you to conform, to fit in, to play it safe, listening to your heart means taking back your power. It means saying, I don't need permission, I don't need validation, I don't need to be understood by everyone to be true to myself. That kind of clarity, that kind of self-trust, it's dangerous to systems that depend on your obedience. Because once you start listening inward, you stop reacting outward, you stop chasing what doesn't matter, you stop agreeing to things that drain you, you stop pretending, and that's when you become unstoppable. Most people think revolution looks like protests, shouts, and noise, but some of the most powerful revolutions happen in silence when one person decides to finally trust themselves. And here's the thing, the heart doesn't speak in fear. It speaks in conviction, in longing, in direction. It won't scream to get your attention because it's never trying to control you. It's trying to liberate you. Imagine a world where people make decisions not based on fear or pressure, but based on what feels right in their soul. Imagine a generation that values alignment more than achievement. Imagine a society that teaches children to listen to their inner signal just as much as they learn math or science. That future is possible. And it starts with you, with one quiet decision to stop looking outward and start listening inward. Because when you follow your heart, you're not just finding your own path, you're lighting the way for others. At some point, you have to stop asking for direction and start realizing you are the one holding the map. You are not here to simply exist. You are here to design, to build, to create something that only you can. And that process, it doesn't begin with certainty. It begins with listening to what excites you, to what pulls you, to what makes you feel more alive than anything else. Because when you listen to your heart long enough, something incredible starts to happen. You begin to see. You begin to see the road others can't. You begin to notice patterns, ideas, opportunities that weren't visible before. You become a visionary not because you know the future, but because you're connected to it. You're not guessing, you're not hoping, you're moving from inner alignment, and that kind of alignment turns humans into forces of nature. You stop being a passenger in your life. You become the driver, the architect, the author, because if your heart has a vision, it's for a reason. It's not random, it's a blueprint and it's yours. You don't need a perfect plan to begin, you just need a clear signal. And that signal has been with you from the start. This world doesn't need more copies. It needs more originals. It needs more people who are brave enough to live from the inside out. So don't wait for someone else to hand you your mission. Create it, lead it, live it. Because once you start living from the heart, the world around you begins to rearrange itself to support it. That's not luck. That's alignment.